Hey guys, it's Junior. Welcome back to Horsepower Warehouse. As you guys know, if you've been a watcher of my channel or maybe even a subscriber, I do a lot of classic cars. I've been doing this for the last 10 years, and before that, growing up, I've done it pretty much all my life. As such, I've run into a couple tools that have made my life significantly easier ever since I've found them. It's a type of tool where once you use it once, you will never go back to the other way you were doing it. So let me show you guys the 5 tools that I have come across when I'm doing stuff like this on a daily basis. As you can see, most of the cars in here are GM based, but a lot of the tools or several of them that I will show you here are going to apply to most classic vehicles. First and foremost, let's check out number 1. If you guys are familiar with taking off door handles, vent window handles, you'll be familiar with this little clip here. Of course, this is a brand new handle and a brand new clip. We call this the Jesus clip. I don't know. See, I was trained and raised by old men that are grumpy and they don't use the correct terminology. So I don't even know what this clip is called other than a handle clip or a Jesus clip. Why do we call it the Jesus clip? Because when you get your pickup under there and you get to go to take it out, boom, it shoots out, you say Jesus, and it's gone. It's gone forever in most cases. I don't know where all these clips are ending up, but I can never find them. So what you can do is purchase some of these. This is the snap-on variation. This is actually a cheaper variation, but it works better than the snap-on because it has the little insert tool. Basically how this works, and I'm trying to do it one-handed, so you line it up under there, and let's see how gifted I am with one hand. Not very gifted. There we go. See how the clip is now open? You can remove your tool, and now the door handle or window handle, vent window handle, whatever this is being used for will pop right off. Also, the clip is still retained in there. If you needed to push it back in or to reinstall it, do it as such. Also, you will notice that the open face of the clip is facing towards the handle. Always do it that way. That way when you go to take it back off, you're not guessing one way or the other which way the clip was installed. It has knobs here to kind of force you to do it one way, but I've seen a bunch of them installed backwards. So that's my number 1 tool here. For years I was using a flathead and a pick to try to get behind it and pull off the Jesus clip. Nope, no longer. Ever since these tools, taking off something like this on a really padded, thick panel is no chore at all. So, also, you have the locks. You can take those off as well with the same tool. They use the same type of Jesus clip. So let's get on to the tool number 2. So what do you guys think this is? Of course, it's a heater hose clamp. So you're probably more familiar with the worm style. You use a flathead screwdriver, tighten it down, and that tightens down your hoses. Back in the day, they used this guy. This is fun. If you have a tool like this, it's easy to use. You have these little notches that the tool opens up, and you can put it in the notches and squeeze it open so that way you can slip it over the hose. For years I was using a pair of pliers, and as you can see, these 2 little knobs here are offset, so it wants to twist every time you clamp down on it with a pair of pliers. Usually this results in it either going boom and springing to the side or completely off of your pair of pliers. If you're using an older car with this style of hose clamp, I mean, holy moly, invest in a set of these. They're super cheap. This is just a generic pair. It's just an off-brand, and it's worked for me for years. So I don't know if it's worth investing in a name brand. I've been using them pretty consistently, and they haven't worn out a set yet. So with all due respect to these, let's move on to the next one because I wanted to keep this video short, and I also have a 6th guy under here waiting just as a bonus tool. So when I've been doing interiors on these vehicles, I've been doing it without these, and let me show you an example. I've had these for a few years now, but prior to that, I was using the incorrect tools to get the job done. So what we have here is an instrument cluster from a C2 Corvette, 63 to 67. This one's already had a light cosmetic restoration by myself. But you'll see here we have a wiper switch, and in there is a nut. 2 notches in the nut. I know what you're thinking. I don't need a tool like this. I can just use a pair of needle nose pliers and a screwdriver through it and turn the nut. The problem is that here is the switch. It will gall these threads up, and you see the end of these threads here, how they're galled up. That's because at some point someone tried to use a pair of needle nose pliers and a screwdriver to break that nut loose and screw it off. Also, it interferes with that and usually bends or breaks that as well. Beyond that, we have another specialized nut here that's for the ignition switch. You can see how this one has 4 notches. I have the incorrect tool here. This one you can see has 3 notches. I'm still looking for my 4-notch tool. It's around here somewhere, but for the sake of this video, I wanted to show you kind of how this works. It lines up into those notches and allows you to break this tool loose without grabbing it with a pair of pliers, because I left this one loose so I can show you. It's important to have really nice, fresh, unscratched up bezels and hardware on these cars. The bright work, you know, really sets things off when it's done correctly and it's really nice. I take pride in not having scratched up fixtures and you know, stuff looking like crap. I mean, we're not building crappy cars, guys. I want to take pride in my work. I don't want to harm the finish on things as I'm putting it together using the incorrect tools. Those 2 little suckers will save your life if you're doing instrument clusters. What's the next tool? We're on number 4. Oh, my girl. Do you guys know what this is? I've met a lot of seasoned techs that have never seen one of these, and I stumbled upon it. I absolutely love it. I'll never remove a windshield wiper arm with a flathead. Now you can see under here, I know what you're thinking. Okay, you want to take the arm off. This has a pretty heavy spring on it. You can see how it's holding that to the windshield. You can get a flathead up under here, maybe even pry off of this wiper nozzle to get it loose, and then boom, it's going to want to pop out. And you can see what happens. You see that little chip right there? That's what happens when you use the incorrect tools. And let me show you how using the correct tool works. Now minded, I'm left-handed and I'm using my right hand to do this. But with one hand, I can now shake this sucker loose. Check it out. There we go. And I can release it. What a fantastic tool. When you're going to put it on, you just hold it straight like this, line up the wiper how it was. Don't look through the screen of your camera when you're trying to install this, and it will go right on. A lot easier with 2 hands than 1. Nonetheless, this tool is absolutely where it's at with the wipers. I use these on all the Corvettes, all the GM style cars. You can see this Camaro has the same type of setup. I mean, it works fantastic on those. What do we got over here on the Mopar? Same type of setup. You can use that tool on a lot of these classic cars. No longer are you worried about, you know, it flipping down and damaging the paint or just anything in that proximity using that sucker. And it's cheap. I mean, just invest in it. You know, it's like 10 bucks, I think, for that tool. Let's move on to number 5. All right, so a lot of technicians will probably see these, know what they are, and go, okay, well, this is silly to me. Do you know how many square nuts I've seen that are stripped out from people using adjustable wrenches? Usually it's 2 faces of it where they go to grab on it, and in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's this right here. Side of the transmission, you got this square nut. I know what you're thinking. I'll get my adjustable wrench on there, set it up to there, and wrench away. but it's going to twist that face and that face in that direction. What you need is the correct size square nut socket. It fits on there, and then you put, you know, your ratchet on the other side. It will not deform this, and these suckers are usually in there pretty tight. If they've been in there for 40 years, this is your best friend. Invest in a set of these guys. Stop deforming these nuts. I mean, I've got a pile of them in my toolbox because it seems like every car that is brought into me by a shade tree mechanic has stripped out nuts, and they're not that fun to take off once they are fully deformed. Then you want to get into a set of Cobra pliers or vice grips. I mentioned that there was a number 6. I probably should have made this tool number 1 because it's my favorite electronic diagnostic tool, and checking the circuitry. In classic cars, it's gonna happen, guys. You're gonna have a turn signal not work, or the horn's not working. I mean, as you go through the circuitry on the cars, it's pretty crude compared to what's done today in terms of weatherproofing and things like that. How do you diagnose correctly a classic car efficiently using something other than a multimeter? Power probe. I love this thing. Check it out. So you take your clips, negative, positive, it lights up. It's a simple tool, but it's a, oh my gosh, fantastic tool. So right here you have a rocker switch. Plus applies 12 volts positive to the tip. The minus now grounds the tip. What this enables you to do is send power to circuits and ground to test if it's at a loss of one or the other. Also, this works as an analyzer as well. You can see that it's showing, we're seeing 12 volts there, and we're seeing ground here. Beyond just having that available at your fingertips, I mean, you could get up under there into your fuse box and test both sides of each fuse really, really quickly to make sure that everything is good in there. You can test wires as you keep going down the circuit line until you find the issue. This tool has got me out of so many problems. Also, you have a ground available here. This is so that, I mean, anything that you want to ground in your hand and apply power to with that tip, things like bulbs, I mean, switches, all sorts of stuff, you can test at your fingertips literally with this tool. This thing is 120 bucks right now on Amazon. I checked it before I made this video. This is, if I had to do an electrical diagnosis of anything on these classic cars, just get a very basic multimeter so that way you can read voltage and amperage, ohms and things like that. Invest in this next. 120 bucks, buy this first. And learn it. Watch maybe an hour worth of videos on it. You will be so much further ahead than if you had not invested in this tool. It's unbelievable. So let me know what you guys think. If you have a tool that you think I missed, something that's essential for working on classic cars, that's a specialty tool that applies only to classics, please let me know. Comment below. Hopefully one of you guys tells me something I don't have yet that makes my life easier. That was the purpose of this video, is I'm just trying to help the do-it-yourselfers at home not struggle so much. Because for years I was using the incorrect tools. When I first started, I didn't have this stuff, and I didn't have anyone teaching me, you know, hey, Junior, don't do it this way. It's so much easier this way. And hopefully some of this knowledge, hopefully I taught you something new. Hopefully you can use it. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I hope you consider subscribing if you haven't already. I have a bunch of projects going on just all over the place. And I have a lot of current vision or future visions for my channel. I want to do some really cool test drives. I mean, I'm not going to spoil things, but there's some really cool stuff coming in the future for you guys. So thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, take care.